Welcome back, vidheads, to another good video. In this video, I'm talking about my own personal BRAW workflow. Now, this video is in answer to one of the comments that I got under one of the Micro Studio 4K G2 videos that I posted, and the vidhead wanted to know about my workflow. And so I'm making this video to show the way I bring out my colors in my BRAW footage. Now, I have a disclaimer here. I am not a professional colorist. I have taken online classes from professional colorists, and I've developed different tips and tricks that I gained from each one of them, right? It's been a few different online courses that I've taken, and it has helped me tremendously to take these courses because it gives me insight on how to bring those colors out. Now, the advice that I give is not professional advice. The advice that I'm giving you is just my own personal opinion on how I deal with my BRAW workflow. Okay, let's dive right in. As you can see, I have a few clips here. We can start at the timeline tab, right? You see I got these different clips here. Now I have these clips here on purpose. All these clips are BRAW clips, and we go to our color tab and we can dive right in. So there's a couple different ways you can go about it. And right here I have the same clip twice because I want to show you a comparison of how you can do two different ways. One, you can go here and you can just use the Blackmagic LUT, right? Now, before I do that, I'm going to show you, you go here to the little camcorder tab. It basically gives you information on your footage, and you click here, project, and you bring a clip. It's going to give you information on your clip. So now I shot this clip in Gen 5 color science, right? Blackmagic, and I shot it at 400 ISO. Now, the first thing I do, I always highlight my recovery. I always check that because I want my highlight recovery. Sometimes I do the gamma compression, sometimes I don't, just basically how it adjusts my color. But right now we're gonna keep gamma compression on. I do not apply LUT here. If anything, I'll apply LUT right inside of Davinci right here. And you right click and you go down to LUTs. And because we already established that I recorded this in Gen 5 color science, we go down to Blackmagic Gen 5 film to video, and boom, color is brought out automatically. That's got to be one of the most easiest ways to do it. So even if I went to this footage here and I did the same exact thing, I can go LUT, go to Blackmagic, go down to Gen 5 film to video, and boom, it starts to come in, right? I'm gonna reset that for now. So now over here, another way to do it is to bring out the colors yourself. And that's what I learned from one of the colorists that I follow. And I've actually paid for his course. And this is one of the tips that I picked up from him. And I'm just gonna show that right now. Basically what he does is he showed how to just adjust your saturation, your contrast, your pivot, and then your offset to get things the way you want it. And so what I'll do is I'll crank up my saturation. Let's just say go to 85. Because I'm a little bit familiar with my footage, I know exactly where I kind of want to go. And I normally start somewhere around 1.5 in contrast. That's kind of like my starting point, right? And then I adjust my pivot for my key, right? And so what the pivot is doing, it is the fine line between white and black, right? The top of the chart is white, the bottom of the chart is black. And what I'm doing by moving the pivot, I'm moving the in-between middle point. I'm moving the middle point of contrast up and down, right? So in this point, I'm moving it up when I go this way. So I can see right now, you can see like the dark spots, I got some lift happening. So I'm gonna bring my blacks down just a little bit, right? And then I think I'm going to use a little offset. Now offset is gonna adjust the color globally in this clip, right? Everything's gonna be adjusted by this. So I'm just gonna kind of move up in the red a little bit, maybe over to the blue a little bit, not too much. This is when those color panels kind of come into play. So that looks pretty decent. So if I get rid of, let's make it a little bit bigger, that don't look too bad, right? But then when I benchmark it to Blackmagic's LUT, this is what theirs looks like. See how theirs is a little bit less saturated than how I corrected mine's. Mine's had a little bit more saturation to it. And this is where I like to play. This is the gratification of bringing out my own colors, because I can kind of play with it the way I like it. So that's just not to say that you can't just go to your Blackmagic clip and do the same thing. I'm not saying that. I just like the gratification of doing it for myself. So let's go to the next clip. Let's go to this clip right here, and let's do the same thing. This is, I'm gonna do custom. And in this clip, I'm going to bring up my saturation. Let's say about, let's start at 75. I'm going to bring up my contrast to about 1.5-ish. And I'm looking, and I can see it's a little blue, right? You can see blue and the skin tones and all that. So that would be the offset. So I'm going to adjust that just a little bit. And there's another way I'm going to show you how you can do that as well. Let me take that offset adjustment out, right? See how blue it looks? You can come down here to your power window and get your power window. So now what you want to do is you want to find something that's white in your scene. And once you find something that's white in your scene, you can isolate that white part. And I'm going to hit this window here. And you can see right here, this is supposed to be white, but as you can see, the blue is way up above the green, and the red is trailing behind. So what I would do is I would come here and I'll go to my offset, and I will go bring my red up and match my green, and then go sideways away from blue to shrink it. And so it's kind of like a happy medium here, somewhere in there, right? And so at this point, you can kind of reset your power window, because you no longer want that in your power window, and it's going to be the whole clip. And so that's one way you can do it. And then I'm looking at it right now and I'm thinking to myself, even though it was a real bright sunny day, I still don't want it to be as warm. I want to kind of take it over just a little to the blue, just a touch, kind of soften that warmness up a little bit. And that right there is kind of pleasing to me. And you can kind of see the skin right here, the skin tone. So I'm going to show you how I can deal with that as well. I'm going to make another node, Alt-S. I'm going to call this skin. And in this node, I'm going to isolate with an eyedropper. I'm going to go to the 3D, where it allows you just to draw a line on what you want to isolate. And then if you want to draw another line, you make sure you go over and hit plus. And then you can add in everything you want to add into this, right? Then you can just isolate just what you've captured. So I'll soften it a little bit right here. Soften my lines a bit. And then now I can make an adjustment. So instead of having waveform, we're going to go here and we're going to go to vector scope. The vector scope is really a good graph to use when you're looking for skin tone. So then once I do that, I'm going to go over here to my curves, and I want to go here to hue versus hue, right? And then I'm gonna click right on skin tones. And then you see how that's moving right there? That right there is what I'm controlling for skin tone. Watch the skin as I move this back and forth, right? So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a happy medium where I like it. I just like, for me, I just like it just a little above, a little red. That's just my own personal preference. Now you can see the difference. Off, on. Right? So that works out for me. So now let me bring back up my clips. All right, I'm going to keep the skin color, but I'm going to bring up my saturation, bring up my contrast. Adjust my pivot to where I like the lighting. And then I can adjust my offset the way I like it. Get a little bit of warmth in there. And just like that. Okay, so these clips I shot at 60 frames per second. And if you guys, this is me playing on that 60 frames per second in a 24 frames per second timeline. So they look a little crazy. But what you can do is I go over here to speed change. And if I start at 60 frames per second and I want to slow it down to 24 frames per second, it's like a 40%. So I just go in here 40. And then I can drag this. So now you see that beautiful slow motion. And that is that's pretty dope. This is my own personal BRAW workflow. Again, I am not a professional, but I have learned from some professionals, so I grab these tips and tricks for myself, and I'm constantly evolving my own process. That's it for this video. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video or share it with somebody who might be able to benefit from it. Comment down below with your questions and concerns, and make sure you go out and you film something and kill it.